This episode of Man of Prestige, but you actually want to draw something on paper, because if you don't even have a foresight to draw like a path between where you are right now to where you're trying to get to, there's nothing to adjust. Some people say, but how would I know that? Haven't I? That's the point. You're supposed to draw something out, right? Have an idea of what you're dealing with the mindset. You keep an open mind that I can change things. I can adjust things. Now that takes me to number 3. Okay, that takes me to number 3. Define your contingencies. Okay, so the path, like I said, is not perfect, right? It's not. It couldn't possibly be perfect, especially if you're doing it for the first time, right? Even those doing it for the second, third time, even a lot of times there's more hiccups. Just like in marriage, there's more hiccups, right? Especially if people don't heal, right? Or people think, yeah, well. Success secrets in 7 steps. I want to share some success secrets with you in 7 steps. Now, I recommend that you absolutely pick up some books on success. I have read quite a few books on success. I'm not going to recommend any in this book right now. I would just say look out for an author called Tim Sales. Tim Sales. And then any material from Jim Rohn. That's JIMROHN. Good insights on success, right? But I want to give you my opinion, on success. And I'm going to give you, we're going to count down 7 steps all the way down to 1, right? Because I feel like obviously this thing is in the eyes of the beholder, right? So this is a good point. This is a good point where I think I should just dive right into number 7, right? Define success for yourself. See, success for me is not the same thing for you, right? Think about it. It's not. Our outlook is different on life, right? I was born in the United States, raised in Nigeria, spent most of my life in the United States. I have a mix of culture, like a concoction of culture and outlook on life. And so how I read success has like multi-dimensions to it, and it's probably different from yours. You're probably coming from the school of thought as legacy. I need a family, I want to build a legacy. You're probably coming from that school, all that kind of shit, right? So we may actually be saying the same thing, but we use different languages, right? But for yourself, just for your own good, define what success looks like. That's the first step. If you don't know what that is to you, or you're busy following gurus and you're running with their own definitions of success, you're going to fail because you don't know their journey. You can't relate. Some things will break and you won't know why. So define what success means to you. Number 6, define the goal. What is the goal? See, the difference between success and goal is that one, you can mark it on paper as this is where I'm trying to get to. Like, it's measurable. So what we're talking about right now is SMART goal, right? SMART goal is specific, measurable, right? Achievable, right? I think the R, I forgot the R. I'll put it up. I can't afford not to tell you this right now. SMART goals, right? So the SMART goals is essentially, let's see, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, right? Especially as a gentleman, right? You want to be realistic, right? At least from your own standpoint. We all believe that realistic looks different to everybody, right? And the last one is time bound, time frame, right? It must be a time that you want to achieve whatever it is that you decide success is. So that's number 6. You want to basically define a goal. Number 5, you want to define your status. What do I mean by that? Your present status. Where are you in life right now? We're not talking about if you're happy with it or not. It's about writing it down, identify where I am right now. Where I am right now, I have $2,000 in the bank account, and I don't know what I'm going to do over the next 3 to 4 weeks. You state something like that and you define it out and you look yourself in the mirror and say, this is what it is. It's not time to cry about it. It's time to just simply identify what it is Okay, so we can use it on the next step. Okay, so now that we've determined that we have 5, 6, 7, so we have 7, 6, 5, we have number 4 is you want to define your path. So now that you have the goal where you're trying to get to, and you have your present status, you want to define a path to get there. You want to draw out a path. See, your path is not supposed to be perfect, okay? But you actually want to draw something on paper, because if you don't even have a foresight to draw like a path between where you are right now to where you're trying to get to, there's nothing to adjust. Some people say, but how would I know that? Haven't I? That's the point. You're supposed to draw something out, right? Have an idea of what you're dealing with the mindset. You keep an open mind that I can change things. I can adjust things. Now that takes me to number 3. Okay, that takes me to number 3. Define your contingencies. Okay, so the path, like I said, is not perfect, right? It's not. It couldn't possibly be perfect, especially if you're doing it for the first time, right? Even those doing it for the second, third time, even a lot of times there's more hiccups. Just like in marriage, there's more hiccups, right? Especially if people don't heal, right? Or people think, yeah, well, I was successful in the first one. I made that mistake in business a lot. Like I was successful, massively successful in my first business, and I made some terrible, grave mistakes on second, third business because I went in it with the arrogance, you know. Well, I can tell you that now. So, so define the contingencies. Like, okay, that's the open-minded part of it. Like, just in case something break, I'm ready. I'm always, every 3 months, I'm gonna come back to the drawing board and say, okay, let me check this. Let me check this. Your contingencies could also be like little milestones between your status and your goal. All right, great. Second, okay, the second step in this hierarchy here, define your starting point. Okay, you have to define when you're gonna get started. Remember the SMART goals, it's time frame. So you can't set this time frame. This is starting point. You're gonna set a specific date and say, on this date of, I'm gonna make my first move. Okay. On this, you have to set that date. It has to be written in stone on a calendar. You have to write it. You have to put reminders around it. You have to put all kind of stuff around it. You have to prepare and cook up to this moment and be excited about it. Now keep in mind, this is going to be a journey, right? This is how success works. Real success, this is how it works, right? They're orchestrated, right? And part of the orchestration is, like I said earlier, designing around contingencies, meaning unforeseen shit that can happen, right? All right. And last and definitely not the least of success secrets is you got to get started. Get started. A lot of people get stuck at, I don't know where to start from. No, get started. Even if it's the research, get started. You need to start. If you don't start, you're not learning. Stop reading books. Get started. You've read enough books. Get started.